All right. Would you hold your child back a grade to give him a better chance at a sports scholarship?
Or to give them an extra year to train, develop, and get more exposure.
Reclassifying is becoming more and more popular, and that's what we're going to get into. Is it really worth it? All right. We are your resident sports
Sports
parents
parents.
who have learned a thing or two navigating the sports arena and raising athletes. And we wanted to talk about this because it just keeps coming up. Reclassifying. What are your
Yeah,
thoughts?
I mean it's definitely eye opening
It is.
because until O'Shea got really serious with basketball and we got into like a real big time training place, I didn't realize how prevalent it was. Like I'd
I
heard of
know.
it happening here and there. You hear about oh this person reclass and things like that, but I never really
I didn't
paid
even
it
know
much
what it
attention.
was.
And then now it's like it seems like that's the thing that all these big athletes are doing.
But can we talk about how back in the day for us, reclassifying, that wasn't a thing. It
No,
was being
left
left
back.
back,
Yeah,
and that was not
no, it
cute.
was not a good thing.
You got left back.
You got made fun of if
You
that
got
happened.
made fun of. But I do have a real life experience where, I'll never forget when I had just moved from Brooklyn. I was in junior high, and I met, no offense, my crush, oh,
I didn't,
Dimitri Calvin.
I didn't know you existed at that time. So
Okay. We were 12, and I had such a big crush on Dimitri Calvin. And so I hoped, like, he would ask me out one day, and I was just like, it was low key, like, he played basketball. I thought it was so cool. He was so good. And I remember he had gotten left back. And I was like, I still thought he was cute. But fast forward, I think at the time we had graduated, we ended up going to college. We ended up going to high school. He was now a year under me, but we still took some of the same classes. And I remember he was always talking about basketball. If you asked him, he was going to the NBA. There was no question. He was always playing, always practicing his hops and all this stuff. And he said to me one day, he says, "You know what? I'm glad I got left back." And I was like, "Ooh, why?" Like, oh. He's like, "Because it gave me more time to work on my game,
yeah,
because I'm going to the NBA." Um, Fast forward, he got into a college, I believe, in Pennsylvania, and he sadly passed away on the basketball court. So Dimitri never got to that ultimate goal, but I knew he was going to get there. He was just so focused. And that was the first inkling. I mean, he didn't reclassify on purpose. He really
yeah.
got, left back a grade, as we called it back then. But more and more people are starting to do that, like on purpose.
Oh, it's a big thing. Like it's like
Yeah.
it seems some. I don't know how true this is, but I did see on the internet that the whole first round of the NFL draft were all reclassifieds.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if
Oh
that's
my
true that
God.
every single one of them, but I'm sure a lot of them were. And in basketball, we're seeing it very often. I mean, we've seen real life examples of kids that
Mm-hmm.
we know have reclassified. So it's definitely becoming a big thing. And
Yeah.
would you do it? I'm not crazy about that idea because
Is
O'Shea is and Anastasia are both very smart. They have excellent grades, so I don't know. I don't see why we would want to stunt their academic growth or have them repeat a grade that they've already excelled in. Like that, to me, I don't like that
right.
idea. But I know some people may just think about it from the sports aspect of it, which I guess I can understand if that's your goal. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe that's why you would consider that.
I hear what you're saying. At the same time, like you ask O'Shea, O'Shea is not repeating no grade. He hates school as
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is. But, it does give them more time to develop and
Mm-hmm.
more time to just grow into themselves. I remember talking to Dimitri and him saying, like, yo, I got extra year work on my game. I got extra year to get recruited and all of those things. And back then I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And it did, because he ended up going to I can't remember if it was a D1, D2. I don't remember. I know the college was in Pennsylvania. I'm pretty sure, but I just
Mm-hmm.
don't know which one. And so he was 19 when he passed, and he had just, I think, finished a game or something like that. But he got, like, he was on his way. He got his dream of having more time to play and develop and things like that. Now I'm seeing more kids, like you mentioned the NFL, you mentioned the NBA and stuff, but even just the other day, I took O'Shea to a training session, and I'm always finding an excuse to talk to people, right? I don't know, it's a reporter in me. Anyway, so I met this guy, and he had uh, brought his twin son daughter, they're twins, and then his daughter brought her friend. And he had said to me, I don't know how he got into this conversation, but he was asking me about O'Shea and everything, and what grade he's in. I was like, okay, he's going to seventh grade, and he says, well, my twins are 13. They're supposed to be going to the ninth grade, but I'm having them repeat the eighth grade. And I was just like, oh, okay. I know more and more people are doing that. I understand. He's like, oh, no, no, no. It's not because it's like, it's not because of all of that. It's just, they're one of the oldest in their grades. Like, in other words, if they go to ninth grade, they'll be like one of the youngest ninth graders, yeah, because their birthdays are in December. Versus if they were to go and repeat eighth grade again, they'll just be an older eighth grader, but still within that range. I think for each school district, maybe each state, the cutoff is different. The city is a different cutoff, and then like further east, like on Long Island, it's a different cutoff. So when he said that, I was like, okay, I get it, because he said the rules are different, like in Brooklyn or something like that. So I think he low key wants to give them a shot at just
Probably.
getting more developed.
Yeah.
And I said, well, they are like small for their ages. They're. I mean, the boy was like O'Shea's height, and the girl was like even shorter. And he's like, oh no, it's not that, or whatever. Whatever the reasoning is, if you want to give your kid a higher advantage, it's okay. Just admit it. So many people are doing it.
Me personally, like I don't know that these statistics exist, but I would love to know the percentages of kids that reclassified that wound up making it to the league. Because I'm sure there's a bunch in the
Yeah.
NBA that did reclassify, but then the flip side of how many it didn't work out for, because eventually you're gonna have to play against the kids your age. Like you'll yes you'll get that extra year in high school where you'll be older than everybody and hopefully
Bigger.
dominate bigger and hopefully you'll dominate and really show out. But then when you get to college, now there's kids in college who are 25 years old
Mm-hmm.
because they're going to JUCO and then they're going to D1. And
NIL, all of
I
that.
watching the tournament last year, there was kids 24, 25. Kids are older in college because they're also staying longer because of NIL, because guys that can't maybe won't make it to the league or can't make it to the league can still make some money in college. And the college coaches are just trying to win. So
Mm-hmm.
they'll play the older kids as opposed to playing, freshmen or guys who are right out of high
Yeah.
school. Like we hear that also, like they're not
Yeah.
really recruiting. Like we're in New York. St. John's coach said he's not really recruiting high school players
Mm-hmm.
because of the transfer portal. They're just taking experienced guys. So
I try to
it's
look that up,
interesting.
by the way. I try to look up how many kids these days are reclassifying to see if they have any stats on that. They don't have any
Yeah.
official stats, but I think it's probably doable that we can somehow try to get stats on the NBA and see if any of them have
I
reclass.
don't
It's
know if
hard
it's
to.
really spoken about. That's the
Yeah,
thing. I
I
don't
don't think
know.
it's, because I looked before we filmed this video.
Yeah.
I did do some research, and I was like, I can't find any stats on this. So if you have any to share, please link something in the description box, because we tried. I'm just going off of my personal experiences of meeting parents and learning about their kids who are reclassifying, and a lot of them, they try to avoid like the term, like they're not reclassifying to give their kids an edge or an advantage. They
Yeah.
make it seem like it's something else, and I'm like, dude, it's okay,
Yeah.
just admit it, it's fine. Is he really 15
Yeah.
and in the seventh grade? Then not so cute, but they think it sounds better if they say, oh, this kid is only in the 7th grade or only in the 8th grade, and he's like 25.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know. There's some stuff you see on Instagram. It's like, come on, are we really
it's
trying to
ridiculous.
sell this kid as a legitimate sixth grader? You
Yeah,
know, like, come on. I
they
mean,
were
but
like
that's what they're doing.
class of 2031,
Yeah,
but yet he should be
he's
class of
six foot
2028.
six and dunking the ball like he's Shaq. Like, come on,
Yeah,
man, it
yeah,
doesn't. That's
yeah.
not how it
And
works.
some of them are from foreign countries,
Yeah,
so it's hard to like
mm-hmm.
investigate their real ages. They
Yes,
could come here and say whatever.
yeah,
But and look, there's no hate, but
no,
where I kind of get frustrated is like for instance with O'Shea. He is a normal, average, um, soon to be 7th grader at the time this was filmed. So he is not like super big for his age. He's not super small for his age. He's right in the middle. So if he goes to a school where these kids are reclassifying, it puts him at the bottom of the pile. So I worry that he doesn't get the opportunities that he technically deserves because he's being
mm-hmm.
overlooked for a kid who is like 2, 3 years older than him or
Yeah,
something, but is now in his grade. And he can't help being smaller than that kid
yeah.
because these are crucial times. Kids usually like they sprout at like
I think, and then this year and next year, we'll probably see a
a,
growth spurt.
a
You know, like
spurt, but then
but then like you said, he'll be maybe playing against, competing against kids that are older than him. I mean,
to
he's
get
also
playing time,
young for his grade to begin with because
he
he has a
is.
summer birthday, so he'll
Yeah,
be 17
at the
when he
time he
graduates
graduates.
high school. So
Yeah.
you know, it's tough. I mean, I think at the end, the skills will show, and like you got guys like Cooper Flag who didn't they went the opposite of
Mm-hmm.
reclassifying. They whatever declassified. I don't know what you even call it.
Yeah.
He graduated early,
Yeah.
and he was the number one pick in
But
the draft.
he graduated at 16 or 17.
17, I
Well,
think.
maybe his birthday's late too.
Yeah, I just know he did the opposite of
Yeah, he didn't
reclassifying.
reclass, and I give him so
Yeah,
much props for that.
I think he was just physically so big. He
Yeah.
was always probably always big for his age, and he
Yeah,
was
he
like
is. I mean,
he was
either
able to
way, he
do it.
graduated at 17,
Yeah.
and which is what O'Shea would be doing. But it just makes it so difficult when all these kids are reclassifying. It makes him have to work 10 times harder. So I actually tell him that all the time. I'm like, listen, there are kids who are reclassifying, so you got to work 10 times hard,
Yeah.
because I'm seeing it more and more. I'm talking to these parents and I'm doing the math and I'm like, shouldn't your child be in 10th grade?
Yeah.
But they're in 8th?
There's
Like,
one kid that goes to his trainer that I'm sure reclassified at least twice.
we don't want to say his
Yeah,
name.
probably 16 or 17, and he's going into the ninth grade.
Yeah, he's
He
probably
looks like
two,
a
three
man.
years.
He's
Yeah.
6'5", can dunk very well.
But why?
Is very
But here's
strong.
the question: why do they hide it?
I
Like,
don't know
why?
that they are. That's the thing. I don't know. I never had a conversation with anybody about him, particular or anybody really. So maybe they are. I don't know. I've talked to other parents on our side where, like on our teams,
Because this guy is
about
talking
it.
to, he's running around in circles. I'm like, dude, come on, just say it. It's fine.
Yeah.
And then when I said, oh yeah, you want to give him an edge, you want to give him no, it has nothing to do with that. It's just maturity. Um, they use maturity as an example, like of giving them more time to mature, and that they're the oldest in their grade, or the youngest in their grade. So instead of them being the youngest in their grade, they'll kind of be up to speed going the next level. I was like, okay, whatever,
Yeah.
it's fine. I'm not hating. I'm just trying to understand.
No,
Um,
but like we talked about, like I would love to see some actual statistics or
yeah,
or or,
because I
or a
think it
documentary or something where they
right,
break it down because sometimes you wonder like
worth it.
is it worth it? Is it hurting kids
Does
down the
it
road?
catch up
Because
to
yeah,
you?
I think it does. Eventually, it does catch up to you because if you're dominating, like if you're that 6'6" sixth grader who was dominating, and then eventually you got to go against kids your own age, and you maybe haven't been playing with kids your own age, that could be a disadvantage. And then also
Or
when
your own size,
your own size, yeah.
because in basketball it's like size is everything.
I mean, we had a tournament. I don't know that this is the reclassification. This is more just like the AAU is the Wild West, and they
It
can
is.
they can let in a lot of these tournaments and leagues they'll let anybody play, and we played against O'Shea's team played against a team from somewhere in Westchester or somewhere, and these kids were clearly no younger, younger than eighth grade, seventh grade, and O'Shea's whole team was legitimate sixth graders,
Yeah.
and you could see this kid. A couple of the kids were just killing them, and
Yeah.
but then somebody told us after the game, it's like, yeah, if you see them play against kids their own age, they can't play.
Yeah.
So that happens.
Yeah, that does. And it boggles my mind. Why would you want to do that to your kid though?
I do know there are certain tournaments that I think I can't remember the names. There was some uh, tournaments where they check birth certificates and things like that.
Who's doing that?
There are some like a Rod Strickland, I think, who used
Mm,
to play in NBA. He has a tournament where they actually check the birth certificates
they should.
to ensure. They really should because
But and they should have a neutral party.
yeah,
Because if you try to say to the coaches, "Oh, make sure you have a copy of all of your kids' birth certificates and just make verify," they'll be like, "Yeah,
yeah.
he's 12." Meanwhile, he's like 15. Um,
And they got the birth certificate of some completely
yeah.
different kid, and then he's just going by that name for that tournament.
So
So
yeah, his brothers or
yeah,
something like that. Like so, it should be a neutral party from said tournament, um, administration or whatever. Because if they could do that with the cost of the tournaments, because they are really they
yeah,
have that down to the science. Nobody can get by
yeah.
without paying the fee. They
Mm-hmm.
can figure out a way to make sure that they have an account of everybody's age. When all is said and done, I do think that it's up to the family, it's up to the
Mm-hmm.
child, because what I think um, is that it's not right to just hold your child back before having that discussion with him or her. I think you should definitely have that conversation. I've known other friends who have had their child reclassify for other reasons, and that reason was justifiable. I mean, it's up to, whoever, it's up to the parents. But when it was explained to me, I was like, oh yeah, for sure. You want your child to be in a space where he or she feels comfortable. But I
Yeah.
think when all is said and done, make it make sense.
Yeah,
Make
I
it
mean, there
make
could be
sense.
a learning
It could
issue
be,
where like maybe they were did well enough to pass the grade, but
yeah,
maybe they really struggled, and then
yeah.
giving them that extra year,
We'll make
will
it,
help them, with
yeah.
their education. Like, but O'Shea and I say they have no issues with.
Exactly. Make the decision that is right for your family. I'm not here to tell you one way or another, but for us, we've decided against that because we know our children. They're
Yeah,
not trying to do extra years of school if they don't have to, especially O'Shea. He
yeah,
would go on a tirade. Are you
yeah,
kidding me?
yeah,
So that's not happening for us. Leave your comments.
yeah.
Make
Let us
sure you
know.
like and subscribe because we want to hear what you have to say. So, if you have any ideas on videos that we should do next, let us know. See
Thank
you in the
you.
next one. Bye.